let's talk about Gilead. So Gilead Sciences has been making headlines for a while now. This is a $79 billion market cap company. They are based in Foster City, California. They were founded in 1987, so they're not new. Their recent strategy has been to make acquisitions that build on its existing portfolio. So they just announced Immunomedics. They're buying that for $21 billion. It does pay a dividend that's yielding a little over 4% right now. Gilead has a lot of things on the market. They have a whole HIV franchise, both treatments and prevention, hepatitis C virus, hepatitis B, and hematology/oncology. They brought in $5.1 billion in product sales in the second quarter of its fiscal year 2020. That represents a 10% decrease from the same period last year. A lot of these drug companies have been battling a lot of headwinds from the pandemic during that second quarter. Gilead's pipeline is focused on oncology, viral diseases, and inflammatory diseases. So that brings us to Remdesivir. This is an investigational antiviral treatment that was initially developed for the treatment of Ebola virus, but it did not meet efficacy endpoints conducted during an Ebola outbreak. So the FDA gave Gilead emergency use authorization on May 1st, specific to COVID-19 for Remdesivir. And Gilead then announced that it was donating 1.5 million vials of this drug. So the EUA has allowed doctors to administer Remdesivir to certain patients despite it not having cleared the hurdles usually required of drugs for FDA approval. Gilead is conducting 2 phase 3 clinical studies to evaluate the safety and efficacy of 2 different dosing durations. There's 5 days, there's 10 days of Remdesivir, specifically in adults with COVID-19. Both of these studies have presented their initial results, and they're going to be presenting results from their expansion phases soon. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. They also have some additional studies going on. They have a phase 2/3 clinical trial investigating the use of Remdesivir in pediatric patients with COVID-19. That started in June. Gilead is working with Roche to test the combination of Remdesivir with an anti-inflammatory drug in patients with severe COVID-19 pneumonia. That also started in June. Brian, we know that Gilead has donated a large chunk of this medicine. Then it disclosed that it priced the drug at one level for the government, one level for insurers, lots of pricing elements in play there. But it said that its investment in the drug could exceed $1 billion. So that's its own money that it's put into this drug this year. Is this company making any financial gains from this treatment?
I mean, so I did some back of the envelope math, and the price of the 5-day treatment is $2,340 for, and then the higher price is $3,120. So if you sort of do a 50-50 split on there, they need like 366,000 patients to cover the $1 billion in costs, and I ignored the manufacturing costs. So you need a little bit more than that. They donated 1.5 million doses. Which if, at 5 days, that's 300,000 patients. And they already went through that entire stock or are finishing up that stockpile right now. So I think that getting 366,000 more patients is probably going to be pretty easy. So I think they'll definitely cover their costs. How much profit are they going to make? It probably depends on how long the pandemic goes on.
Yeah, great point. So let's talk a little bit more about this antiviral drug. What do we know about Remdesivir, and how might the progression of antibody-based treatments impact this drug's market share, if you'll call it that? It's an antiviral, which is different from antibody.
Right. Yeah. So the way it works is it blocks the virus from copying its genetic material. So it's an RNA virus. So there's this thing called RNA-dependent RNA polymerase, and you make more RNA from the RNA. So it blocks that protein, and that's the reason why the virus can't replicate. Since it works differently, I think that it's pretty clear that there should be there's, you can have combination treatments. And so I don't think that they would necessarily be competing with the antibody treatments. I think they'll be tested if, I think they're currently being tested together. And I think that it's likely that the combinations would work better than the individual, than each one of them on their own.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
And of
what
course,
happens.
we know Trump got both. So
Correct.